some of us has difficulties to join the program live through Zoom. Give me a second. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is the beginning of our second day of our program. Before I invite the chair of the sessions, allow me to share our topic and the invited speaker today. The second date for today, uh, we will have at least 2 hours program from 10 to 12 in London time. It means from 6 to 8 of Makassar time or Kuala Lumpur time. We will discuss the big topic is about dynamics on education and the radicalization. And I already invite Associate Professor Dr. Suyatno Ladiki, uh, Associate Professor from University Sultan Zainal Abidin, Malaysia, and he will the first one will speak about local capacity enhancement and Pondok Pesantren case study in Jember. I invite couple scholar to join. Fortunately, among them who already confirmed, we have Yaza Azahra Uliana from University Sultan Zainal Abidin, Malaysia, with the topic the radicalization, the case study in Indonesia. We have Hasrul Zazli bin Abdul Khalil from Global Peace Mission Malaysia with the topic human rights in crisis, NGO advocacy and educational access for Palestinian and Syrian refugee children in Malaysia. And we have another one, Dion Maulana Prasetya, Universitas Muhammadiyah Malang, with the topic Jakal Middle Power, Rethinking Indonesian middle powermanship. And I will extend the discussion through the topic the Sanctuary of Knowledge, the Power of Peace Education in Indonesian Pesantren. Hopefully, we will have 2 hour discussions, and it will give us opportunity to extend the program, and then actually we name it International Young Scholar Symposium because of this symposium is early stage of this topic. Even though actually million people already have advancement of this topic, but for me and couple number of scholars we invite, they are the beginner for this topic and opportunity for us to learn each other. I'd like to hand over the mic to Associate Professor Dr. Suyatno Ladiki to chair the session. And we thankfully, I would like to thanks for his kind share time to chair this session and allow us to learn together about this topic from the perspective of our friend in Malaysia and in Indonesia. Thank you, Prof. And Mike is yours.
Okay, thank you very much for Pak Ismail. So hopefully we can discuss about our topics today, not only for empower ourselves to be a good scholar, but also as a warming up, especially for the Yaza and Nazrul, because they are ready for the last stage, for example, in the study. I think this is the good discussion. This is good this is good opportunity for you. And then we're still waiting for Dion, yeah? I think Dion's still on the way. So, Pak Ismail, where is the other speakers, discussions? Hello, Pak Ismail. No, no, no.
Hello, I am here, sir.
Okay, and then the other speakers are like, what's that from Portugal?
Yeah, so some friend of us, they are joining through the YouTube, and then for small number of people, they join here in uh, Zoom, live Zoom, and then allow me to record for the program, and then we will have opportunity to upload later this. Recorded to YouTube. The second one, this is the second day actually. We already start yesterday, and then uh, after this symposium, maybe this is the latest program with EUTER, European counter-terrorism, and then I will send you later the program for the closing conference of the EUTER, but the center and the research fellow in Kapil University still agree for us to maintain this collaborative research between Asia and Europe. That's why we have this session at least to identify what is the topic that we can discuss in the near future after this symposium.
Okay, so if you don't mind, can you explain what the kind of our discussion today, especially for my role as a
Yeah,
discussion?
so maybe you can start to present your topic, and then we can invite Yaza and Anchi Hazrol and the latest one, Dion, and then we have a spare time from 6. We already start to 8 o'clock, and hopefully we can identify what is the possibilities from this topic to be continue as the uh, collaborative research for us between Asia and Europe.
Okay, thank you very much. So this is the reason why I took, become a discussion as a speaker, first speaker to give basics understanding about our discussions before following Yaza and Nasser and also Dians to continue discussions. Please allow me to explain or to present my paper today as a background, maybe as a background, yeah, I think this is my research early research. Hopefully, this is very fruitful for Yaza and Nasr because I would like to explain how it's important local capacity to be a good effort for the stakeholders to reduce radicalism, for example. But for today, not only for radicalism, but also I try to explain how it's important local capacity enhancements in and Pondok Pesantren, especially in the Jember, district Jember. As introduction, I would like to explain how it's important Pondok Pesantren functions to facilitate collective action in a determined pattern so that it functions not only as an organization but also as a social institutions. Because as we know, Pondok Pesantren or Islamic boarding school in Indonesia has a important role in historical of education in Indonesia, not only as organization of education, but also as social institutions, because there is a melting point for the social interactions between students and government, for example. Pondok Pesantren also has a capacity to handle some issues such as community empowerment or radicalism movement. So can be managed through these relationships, especially between Pondok Pesantren, local government, university communities, and also industry sectors by creating programs and policies cooperations. This is important nexus or relations between them because not only for the empowering community, but also spreading the good values, especially Islamic values, to the community as reducing radicalism movement. Sorry. Pondok Pesantren also Yeah. Okay. Why I mention about the local, because first reason is, according to the argumentation from Tiponil, all politics is local, because everything's problem, everything's a phenomenon of politics come from the local level. The source or the root is come from the local level. So it's mean I would like to uh, capture or to try explain everything's political problems come from the local level. Especially in my research, I'm starting from the uh, local level, uh, such as a Pondok Pesantren in Jember. As we know, after the fall of Suharto regime, Indonesia entered democratic state that gives autonomy and decentralization at the local level. It's mean how is important local level, because the political history in Indonesia giving a local very big influence towards national politics. Sorry. So because the policy of autonomy and decentralization in democratic era in Indonesia are really as a pivotal phenomenon for the development of democracy, especially at the local level. So it's mean the local level is very important area to understand how is political problem in Indonesia. And then local governance become big issues in political life, in particular arrangement all of power to distribute resources to what people. So this is the consequences of the local level as a uh, important role in the political issues in Indonesia, because uh, one of the stakeholders, such as local governance, become big issues. How is important? How is a role important to influence the community, especially creating policies and etc. So it's mean the problem of radicalism, terrorism, or also community empowerment also come from local level activities. So this is the parameter, important parameter encourage how is local level activities can build a good environment for the community to avoid radicalism and also terrorism rising. And then the spread of influence of Islamic radicalism, for example, can be approached by the relations government, industry sector, university communities, and citizens. Because the local level is important, so this is the reason why the four sectors is important to make good relations. I try to explain using the quadruple helix model. Because according to Escovitz and Lesteyev, proposed the model of triple helix of university, industry, and government relation for explaining structural development in knowledge-based economics. So, according of those scholar, how is important relation between university, industry, and government, and they call as a triple helix, yeah, as embryo of the quadruple helix, previously. And then because this is the a good relation between them to make how development, how structural development in knowledge-based economy. Then after that, rise the follow of the for example triple helix, yeah, it is called quadruple helix, because in the quadruple helix model, work together create a future and drive structural change far beyond the scope of what any one organization or person could do alone. And then if we mention using the quadruple helix model, triple helix broadens within the quadruple helix is the more followed through a media-based and cultural-based public system. And then the purpose of this extension from the triple to quadruple is the purpose is the extension is include the public as well as civil society as a fourth subsystem. And then this is a completing the triple helix, because the civil society as a, as a fourth subsystem is including the public as well. The quadruple helix already encouraged the perspective of the knowledge society enough knowledge democracy for the knowledge production and innovation. The media-based public not only support the diffusion of knowledge in state, as on state, for example, but also the culture-based public with its values, experience, tradition, and vision, and which promotes knowledge for the knowledge society. This is the combination, it's very good combinations between society, university, and also industry and government. Because they can build the cultural base and also knowledge society for the nation state level. And then after quadruple helix, we found there are extensions from the quadruple helix, such as we call quintuple helix. Quadruple helix model refers to the collaborative framework involving academia, university, industry, government, civil society. This model emphasizes the interaction and collaboration between the stakeholders to drive innovation and economic development. And then the extension of quadruple helix we call quintuple. Quintuple helix expand on the quadruple helix model by adding a fifth, not only fourth, but also fifth sectors which represent the media and culture sector. Not only industry, university, government, and also civil society, but including the fifth sector, such as namely media and culture sectors. This model recognizes the influence of media and culture on innovation and societal development, and it emphasizes the importance of including this element, that innovation system. But for my research today, I would like to use the quadruple helix as a embryo, my embryo research, because for furthermore research, I think I would like to use the quintuple helix because for the local capacity for the states, I think quadruple helix is enough. But for further research, it is important to connect quadruple helix as a model to explain how is using media and culture sector in local level as also good explainer, what kind of good relation between them. So this is the reason why for the significance research are still used, are still stop at using quadruple helix. But for further research, I would like to use the quintuple helix. So if we see this table, I think come from triple helix and then extend become quadruple helix, and then nowadays we found quintuple helix. But for my research, I think it's enough to understand our situation in Jember using quadruple helix, because in quadruple helix, if we found territorial innovations combined for the fourth sector, such as government, and then university, companies or industry, and also citizen. So the good relation between them, I think with rise, I think it could be rise territorial innovations, not only good for community, but also good for the state. And then how is to explain the situation in Pondok Pesantren using the quadruple model? And dealing some issues such as community empowerment and radicalism can be managed through this relation by creating programs and policies. So it's mean community we can give some activities and then avoid a rising of the radicalism, because of course community would like achieve the basic need, for example, in economic sector. So creating program and policies can support their needed. I think it's a very urgent to be as a good destination for the good policies for local government. And then in the context in Jember, public civil society, we found in Pondok Pesantren or Islamic boarding school in Jember. And then the sectors of university, Universitas Islam Negeri Jember or Islamic State University. And then the industry sectors, we found some industry sector in Jember and collaborate with the Pondok Pesantren. And then authorities or government, we found synergistic program by BNPT, for example, and also district government. So this combination for the relations, it can be the best practices at the local level as a good programs and policies to enhance local capacity. So this reason why quadruple helix for now it's enough to understand how is important relation between them, between four sectors, because we can find how is the situation in Jember can avoid negative activities such as radicalism, but also reaching the good or positive activities such as local capacity enhancement. And then what is kind of the local capacity enhancement using the quadruple helix model? The Pondok Pesantren or Islamic boarding school plays an important role in increasing the capacity of local capacities that can tie the overall relationship together. For example, Pondok Pesantren or Islamic boarding school Al-Qadiri producing mineral water. Pondok Pesantren Al-Qadiri collaborate with the industrial sector by producing mineral water products that are sold to the public, namely Al-Qadiri mineral water. This is one of the popular mineral water in Jember, come from the Pondok Pesantren production. And then in the economic sectors, these economic sectors, HIPMI or Himpunan Pengusaha Muda Indonesia, or we call young businessmen in Indonesia, try to cooperate with the Pondok Pesantren. This evidence, Pondok Pesantren such as Miftaul Ulum collaborate together with the other Pondok Pesantren such as Bait Al-Hikmah, Pondok Pesantren Minkan Tulab, Minkiting Tulab Kerikilan, Pondok Pesantren Mabdiul, and also Pondok Pesantren Ma'arif and Al-Falah Islamic Boarding School participated in a program created by the central government in the form of HIPMI Goes to Pesantren. The program aims to, to drive entrepreneurship among Pondok Pesantren residents, especially students. So this is a good effort, especially for the local level. In Pondok Pesantren, student can rise a good good knowledge about the business, for example, and then this is a good education to santri or to student in boarding school. This is the maps how is HIPMI goes to Pesantren, and third evidence that I mentioned from this to explain how is good cooperation, such as a program Bela Negara program, Defense State. Relationship between local government is carried out by the Pondok Pesantren in the State Defense Program. Pondok Pesantren such as Sofa Marwa in Jember is conducting this program collaboration with the police, army, and also district government institution. In the field education, Pondok Pesantren Sofa Marwa conducts regular discussion with teaching learning process with the Jember State Islamic University and also IIUM and Sultan Zainal Abidin. This evidence, this fact, so reflects how is Pondok Pesantren collaborate with the authorities to help the state. How is important for the local community, local capacity, and the political sectors to understand importance bela negara, defense state, especially for the young generations. I think this is a good rule or important rule from Pondok Pesantren Sofa Marwa can be highlighted as a good relation between civil society and authorities or government. So conclusions that try to highlight this presentation today. Pondok Pesantren can be a trigger because institutionally it reflects media-based and cultural-based public as the fourth helix, because the good relation between Pondok Pesantren as a civil society with the industrial sector and also with the universities as a community, academic community sector, and connecting or relation to government is called media-based and cultural-based public. It's called fourth helix. However, political activities such as bela negara, and then the economic sector such as HIPMI goes to campus, or air mineral al-Qadiri from the Pondok Pesantren Qadiri producing air mineral or mineral water, social and educational activities such as seminar, discussion, teaching, such as Pondok Sofa Marwa, using their collaboration between Pondok Sofa Marwa and IUM Al Suwin and Junisa, make a treasure trove of knowledge and activities that can be said to be important assets to be improved as a whole in the context of the quadruple helix model. So the central role of Pondok Pesantren or Islamic boarding school, which has been running for a long time, is now very important to increase the local capacity, which is much needed. Thank you very much. This is my presentation today. Hopefully, it can be a basic discussion today for others presentations, because how is important Pondok Pesantren as one of sectors in quadrupelic model. Thank you very much. So I would like to invite the other presenter, maybe first, yeah, Pak Ismail, yeah? Maybe Pak Ismail has a comment before I continue to give a time for other presentation.
Yes, sir. We can invite our colleague or friends to extend the presentation, and we can put aside of our Q&A after all the presenter already present their presentation.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Pak Ismail. So I think Jasa, yeah, because later Jasa. Yes, sir. Are you ready? Yes, are you ready?
Yes, doctor. Yes, I'm ready.
And you can continue the presentation today.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, panels, and all the participants in today's conference. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Yaza Azhara Uliana, currently a PhD student in the last semester in UNIZA, Faculty of Law and International Relations. The research that I am bringing in today's discussion, today's symposium, is about de-radicalization program, especially the case study in Indonesia. Okay, let me start with the background of the research. This research is rise from the radical social movement in Indonesia in the last few years that has attracted significant attention. And also terrorism in Indonesia right now is divided into three periods. The first period is during the Darul Islam or DITII, Darul Islam, Tentara Islam Indonesia in the period of 1949 to 1954, who wanted to form the Islamic State of Indonesia. Mainly their activities is imposing the Islamic rules and regulation based on Quran, and they want to implement it in Indonesia. This movement was led by Kahar Muzakar in Sulawesi. And then spreading around to the West Java and also in Aceh. And then coming to the second period, during the where the trend of terrorism changed to Jamaah Islamiyah, which began in Abu Bakar Bashir as the leader of it. This terrorist group originated from Al-Mukmin Islamic Boarding School in Sukoharjo. It was found there. They have spreading the the radical ideas on Islam. And also the Jamaah Islamiyah existed in Indonesia until the early 2000s and succeeded in carrying out the terror of the Bali bombing 1, bombing 2. Also in some places that has become their target, such as embassies in Australian embassies. Also, one of the biggest hotel in Jakarta is JW Marriott. And then the next period is the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, where we call it ISIS. These terrorists were influenced by global terrorism movements centered in Iraq and Syria. And these three periods have differences in how they do things, communication patterns, ideological dissemination, and how they recruit the members either through direct recruitment or through online. To deal with this, Indonesia has two bodies that have worked hard to eradicate the terrorism: the Special Detachment or Detachment 88 from the Indonesian Republic Police, and also from the National Counter-Terrorism Agency, or we call it Badan Nasional Penanggulangan Terorisme. However, the two bodies have not synergized optimally in the radicalization program. They have their own program in order to reduce the radical thinking of ex-convicted terrorists. And they are still running individually against terror in Indonesia. Next, these research questions that has come up to this research is basically we want to know the pull and push factor of radicalization in Indonesia, and then, what are the current program that has been done in Indonesia imposed by Detachment 88 from the police and also the NCTA. And then the third one is the implementation of de-radicalization policy of ex-convicts of terrorism in Indonesia. And the last one is what kind of the effective program along with this, there's several objectives that are going to achieve in this research. The first one is identify the prime cause of radicalization in Indonesia itself. The second, to ascertain the de-radicalization program by Indonesian government, and how is the effective de-radicalization program that should be. The third one, to examine the success and failure of de-radicalization programs by involving the CSO and NGO in Indonesia, whereby this research also involving them in order how to take part in the research, take part in the de-radicalization program. And the last one is to propose a comprehensive and de-radicalization program in Indonesia. There are some significance of this study. It is hoped that academic purposes, especially in international relations disciplines research concerning the de-radicalization program, prisoners and also criminals, for other countries' public policy, specifically in identifying and analyzing radicalism, giving some input and evaluation discourse for the body that has done the de-radicalization, which is Detachment 88 and also NCTA. And also the fourth one, providing awareness to the wide world to stop growth the new terrorism and then to protect human rights. And also, as indicated in the research about in the title above, in this part of the chapter, also it will give the approach on how the type of data and ethical consideration in collecting the data throughout the research process. The methodology that is used there are some strategy, method, and also approach that has been done. Where strategy, research elaborates systematic analysis of the successful de-radicalization program imposed by others globally and starts to extract it based on force factor of Indonesian conflict with terrorism. It is able to compare and contrast the differences between de-radicalization in some countries in this world. It will be able to formulate the best solution for Indonesia and also to upscale the optimization program that has been done by the NCTA before. Method that is used is qualitative research and the approach is inductive research. All right. For the methodology done as after official government websites as the second development. So that is why completing the
Sorry, Yasa, I think you
the
can.
sample select.
Sorry, interrupt. I think you can close your video maybe because your line is not good. You can close your video.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Oh, she's out.
Yeah, Yaza is not connected to the Zoom right now, so it seems her connections getting trouble. But he's proceeding to join again.
Okay, Yasa, you can continue without your open your camera. It's okay. You can close your camera.
Okay. All right. Now you can hear me, right?
Please share screen, please.
Hello.
Please share screen.
Oh. All right. Okay. Okay. There is related theories that is very suitable to this research. The first one is the transnational terrorism.
You can share
involving
screen.
Yeah.
Can you please can you share your screen?
I already share my screen, Doctor.
Because there is no screen at here.
I already share it. Can you? What about now?
No.
You can stop
Can you see?
Yaza and restart again once more. We cannot
Okay,
see our screen here.
Oh, okay. I share once again. Okay, what about now? Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet, yeah.
Okay. Hey, try again.
Try again.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, good.
All right. Thank you very much. Sorry for the inconvenience. There is a related theories that I am bringing in this research. The first one is the transnational terrorism, whereby this theory is very, very related due to its relation with the different states and nationalities, because Indonesia itself, it has a certain border with different countries like Malaysia, and also in the Kalimantan Island, it has a border with Brunei Darussalam and also Malaysia. It means that this will involve different states and nations that can influence the movement of the people around countries. The second one is relative deprivation, whereby the terrorism acts can come from the unsatisfaction from the people to the political situation, to the economical situation in the country. So there is a way for them to do a protest by creating the terrorism acts. Second one is the group of person who doesn't want to accept the changes in terms of the policy and also the rules and regulations that the country has imposed. And the last one is the social identity theory. It's related to influence each other in the acts of terrorism. Well, radicalization comparison countries. So there is a de-radicalization comparison between Indonesia, Malaysia, and so we can see in Indonesia is a in ancient and live a life free from the radical ideology. Indonesia also providing the counseling program for the terrorist detainees from the psychiatrist and also from the Islam preacher. Last one, national training encourage become productive to the community, so that by the time they release from the to meet with more in terms of
Yeah, we lost her again. It's okay.
Yeah, fortunately, we don't have a good connection with her. Otherwise, it not such kind to disturb our discussion actually. But she will come. She is proceeding right now.
Okay, yes,
it's reconnecting, ya, dokter.
yes, yes. So
Go ahead.
I think in my suggestions that you can continue directly to the result, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay,
result.
dokter.
And after that,
Result.
continue then conclusion, yeah, after result.
Okay, sure. So there is findings for my 4 research objectives and questions. Based on the interview, for the first push and pull factor, we can see that by the interview conducted with one of the terrorist perpetrators in Poso, they stated that the main thing that attracts people who to join the terrorist members is because they have a wrong understanding of religion. In this case, namely Islam. They consider that destroying infidels on earth is the door to jihad. And also the feeling of inequality, also part of the internal factors that may grow the radical throughout among those convicted to terrorism. Also, the push factor is people who has limited sources of foods and basic needs has high possibility also to commit a crime rather than others, factors such as psychological, political, also religious. For the second objectives here on the current program, Indonesian government has imposed a 6 stages program in order to make a people de-radicalize from the thought of terrorism and also radical thinking. The first one through rehabilitation, and then re-education, re-socialization, and also religious formation and entrepreneurial approach, providing the training and business capital to be independent and does not understand of violence anymore. The third one, the implementation of de-radicalization policy of ex-convicts in Indonesia. BNPT or NCTA has worked closely with some of the CSO, especially Islamic Civil Society organization like Muhammadiyah and Nahdlatul Ulama as a religious institution. Several NGOs cooperate with BNPT in carrying out de-radicalization programs such as Peace Prasasti Foundation. This will help a lot the government in order to go to the grassroots so that the program that they are going to promote, they are going to socialize to the society, especially for the ex-convicted terrorists, can be done effectively. And then the majority of the programs from BNPT right now has poorly planned, accidental, and irregular. In fact, because there is no clear program, because some people think it's just a budget busting scheme or induce the fear. Good institutional cooperation is necessary for this so that they can just do it alone, but with cooperative with many institutions. Also, this is the task and also institution that involved that should be done by the NCTA. Like, for example, in terms of the enforcement law, should be done by police, prosecutors, judiciary, correctional institution, enforcement supporters by the TNI, PPATK for the financing, and also the last one for the prevention, preparedness, counter radicalization can be done by the national ministries and agencies, also from the FKUB, what we call the Civil Society Forum Kerukunan Umat Beragama. This will be very important. The last one, the effective program that is proposed, maybe the government can take note of this in order to prevent formerly incarcerated individuals from joining the group once more. Also, imposing the new curriculum involve the prison officers in its implementation, because they are the one who knows what are the inputs, suggestion by the prisoners, and make rules related to the authority of state institution, and then placing convicts in special prison for terrorism so that they can be trained well. Coordination with related parties, like I mentioned before. And then the most effective way to prevent the turnback is to strengthen the economic situation so they can be more stable and having no intention to turn over their life. The ability to survive after release to the society come from the entrepreneurship training received before. And some of it also mentoring, also apprenticeship program, and to ensure that every agency support and reinforce this economic empowerment. I think that's all. Thank you very much for your attention. Sorry for the trouble. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for Yasa. I think it's a good presentation today. But you have to prepare yourself to be a good presenter in FIFA section later. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Doctor.
It's a good warming up for you. Okay. We can continue to Hasrul, yeah, because Hasrul has a second waiting line. Hasrul, are you ready? Hello, Hasrul. Hello, Hasrul. It's okay. If
Yes,
Hasrul,
yes, Doctor, I'm ready.
Hasrul, can you present today? But as experience of Yasa just now, please your present just in background and also finding, yeah, because I think it's no need to explain about the methodology, theory. I think it's no need, yeah, because
Okay, understood.
to saving our times. Thank you, Asrul.
Okay, can you see the slide, Doctor?
Oh, yes.
Prof?
Yeah, good.
Okay. So, should I open the video or without opening video?
If you have a good line, you can open your video.
Oh, okay, Doctor. In video, let's start with. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, everyone.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay, first of all, thank you to Dr. Ismail and also to my beloved supervisor, Associate Professor Dr. Suyatno Laditi. And inshallah, today, inshallah, okay, I would like to say good evening to everyone and welcome to my presentation. And first of all, let me thank you all for coming here today. Let me start by saying a few words about my own background. My name is Hasrul Sadli and I'm from Malaysia. And currently I'm working as a teacher, at one of the refugee school in Malaysia. And I'm also pursuing my PhD at Sultan Zainal Abidin University. So as you can see now on the screen, my topic today is human rights in crisis, NGO advocacy and educational access for Palestinian and Syrian refugee children in Malaysia. Okay. Malaysia is a major host country for refugees, including Palestinian, Syrian, Rohingya, and asylum seekers from Asia and the Middle East. However, the country's legal frameworks doesn't recognize refugees under the 1951 Refugee Convention or its 1967 protocol, leading to legal uncertainty and challenges in assessing fundamental rights, particularly education. So, Malaysia education system governed by the Education Act 1996 exclude refugee children due to their non-citizen status, creating a barrier to their access to formal education. So the right to education is a fundamental human right enshrined in international treaties like the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the Convention on the Right of the Child. However, the realization of this right for refugee children in Malaysia remains a challenge due to legal constraint and a lack of inclusive policies. So, refugee children face various barriers, including legal restriction, financial constraint, language barrier, discrimination, and a lack of trained teachers, despite the existence of educational programs for refugee children in Malaysia. This initiative often face limitation in terms of sustainability and capacity to accommodate the growing number of children. So the absence of a cohesive and inclusive policy framework contributes to persistent gaps in their education. So in this research aims to comprehensively examine the right to education for Palestinian and Syrian refugee children in Malaysia, analyzing the legal and policy framework, evaluating the challenges faced by these children, assessing existing educational initiatives, and proposing policy recommendation to enhance their educational prospect. When talking about the research problem, in this study stated that the conflict between Palestine and Syria is a complex and long-standing issue, with the Syrian government expressing solidarity with the Palestinian cause. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict dates back to the end of the 19th century and it's primarily a conflict over territory. So the conflict has resulted in significant displacement and loss of life, with tension rising between Israel and its neighboring countries, including Syria. The conflict has severely impacted Palestine refugees who sought shelter in Syria after their displacement from historic Palestine in 1948. So because of that, so the conflict in Syria and Palestine has led to many refugees seeking shelter in Malaysia, with the number of refugees nearly tripling in recent months. As of October 2023, there are over 100,000 refugees and asylum seekers in Malaysia, with approximately 5,320 Palestinian and Syrian refugees and asylum seekers registered with United Nations in Malaysia, and 30% of them are children. So based on this situation, providing education to refugee children has become a critical issue that requires urgent attention from various entities, particularly non-governmental organizations. In Malaysia, the government stands with the international legal framework that protect the right to education for refugee children, including the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the Convention relating to the status of refugees, and the Convention on the Right of the Child. However, refugee children in Malaysia still face significant barriers to accessing quality education, such as economic constraints, institutional challenges, and parental difficulties in providing education for their children. In Loganadan, one of the researchers, he found that under the current education policy, only stateless children with Malaysian parents are allowed to enter public schools, leaving many refugee children without access to formal education. It and Rohaiza also identify many informal learning centers as not state endorsed, as they are unable to fulfill licensing criteria. Financial constraint, lack of opportunities, and parental reluctance to invest in education are some of the major reasons for school dropout among refugee children. So one of the main challenges facing refugee children in Malaysia is the lack of legal recognition, as they are not recognized as citizens and do not have access to Malaysia's public education system. This makes it difficult for them to access basic education and other essential services, including healthcare and social welfare. So the effect of the policy is that refugee children face immense challenges in getting access to education, as they are only allowed to attend informal learning centers run by non-governmental organizations or community groups. So these centers offer basic education in literacy and numeracy, as well as life skills. However, these centers are often overcrowded and under-resourced, with most teachers being volunteers or members of the community. There is also no standardized curriculum or accreditation, resulting in the quality and relevance of the education provided. The International Organization for Migration 2019 found that Palestinian and Syrian refugee children in Malaysia pose numerous challenges to the host country's education system, requiring urgent attention and intervention, while several NGOs have stepped in to provide support and assistance. There is a critical need to evaluate the effectiveness and impact of their educational initiative on the well-being and integration of Palestinian and Syrian refugee children into Malaysian society. Collaboration between NGOs, governments, and international organizations is needed to promote education as a fundamental right and an empowering tool for Palestinian and Syrian refugee children in Malaysia. So the research objective in this study are, number one, to analyze the right to education for Palestinian and Syrian refugee children in Malaysia. Number two, to investigate the difficulties faced by Palestinian and Syrian refugee children in acquiring their access to human rights education in Malaysia. And number three, to examine the involvement of local NGOs in aiding Palestinian and Syrian refugee children in Malaysia to obtain the right to human rights education. As you can see here, I state some of the articles that I referred.
I think you can pass this one. You can pass.
Pass.
You can direct to finding discussion.
Yeah, this is my discussion, Doctor, and then I will go through my finding, the significance.
Okay.
So I just have literature review and significance. Okay. So as you can see here, I state some of the article that I referred to in making my research successful. So in this study, I have identified several previous studies regarding the right to education for refugee children. So here I would like to state the differences between several countries in providing education right to refugee children, especially to Palestinian and Syrian refugees. As we know, education is a fundamental human right as recognized by the Convention on the Right of the Child in 1989 and the Refugee Convention in 1951. It is crucial for the UNHCR emergency response to humanitarian disasters, providing stability and security for refugee children in displacement circumstances, especially during war and crisis situations. So the Universal Declaration of Human Rights states that education is directed toward the full development of human personality and the strengthening of respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms. However, approximately 3.7 million refugee children are not enrolled in school and are denied access to education, violating international human rights norms. So there is a significant gap between this beneficial legislation and the enrollment of immigrant children in school, with this accord being among the least enforced in international human rights legislation due to a lack of emphasis of economic, social, and cultural rights. UNESCO, for example, renews education pledges to support refugees at the Global Refugee Forum, where approximately, sorry, I have to admit first, okay, where approximately 26 million refugees, nearly half of whom were children under the age of 18, were denied access to education. In Turkey, for example, UNICEF collaborates with the Turkish government and non-governmental organizations to protect a generation of Syrian children, aiding them in developing resilient and strong foundation for the future. So in Turkey, the conditional cash transfer for schoolings program aims to provide financial aid for schooling to about 230,000 refugee children in Turkey, including vulnerable refugee children enrolled in Turkish public schools and temporary education facilities. UNICEF has also provided various protection services for vulnerable refugees and Turkish children, including child and adolescent-friendly spaces, skill development, social cohesion, and engagement activities. This program reflects Turkey's continued humanitarian response to the children of Palestinian and Syrian refugees. Besides that, in Jordan, the humanitarian response to refugee children face numerous challenges, including economic hardship, safety concern, inadequate quality, and policy difficulties. UNICEF research indicates that about 1 million children in Jordan, including 660,892 Syrian refugees, require support. The second Global Refugee Forum in December 2023 present an opportunity for the international community to ensure inclusive and high quality education for these children. The UN High Commissioner for Refugee, UNHCR, and other organizations have launched development and humanitarian program to help impoverish Jordanian, Syrian, Palestinian, and Iraqis. Jordan is focusing on long-term development support to build strong and effective education system that benefit both the host country and refugee children. The government has established an education strategy plan 2018 to 2022 to increase educational access and quality for refugee children. At the same time, Canada's commitment to provide direct budget support to Jordan's Ministry of Education until 2022 is another effective effort to help refugee children's education in Jordan. UNICEF is currently aiding underserved population in Iraq, providing education, health, and protection services to refugees of all nationalities throughout the year. The Refugee Education Integration Policy 2022 aims to promote access to inclusive education and host communities. In Lebanon, for example, the government has taken significant steps to enroll Palestinian and Syrian children in formal education. In 2022, United Nations funded 26 education and training programs to support refugee children in Lebanon. These efforts demonstrate the dedication of various organizations and government to provide education and assistance to refugee children in these countries. The United Nations Relief and Work Agencies has been implementing the education reform strategy in Lebanon, which aims to assist students become innovative, critical and creative thinkers in the 21st century. The country has also implemented initiatives like the Reaching All Children with Education to educate over 400,000 refugee children. Jusor Refugee Education, for example, provide a holistic primary school education, and through Nova, okay, it support 800 refugee children in 2 schools in Bekaa Valley, ensuring they receive the basic right to education in Lebanon. In Egypt, refugee children from South Sudan, Syria, and Yemen are granted access to education in public school, including education grant to help with school fees and supplements. The United Nations, Egypt has facilitated the selection of 9 refugee students for a scholarship, allowing them to receive high-quality hospitality education for 3 years. The Education in Harmony initiative support the intersection areas of education and child protection to ensure vulnerable girls and boys have improved access to protective and quality school and community environment in 25 public and 15 community schools. However, in Malaysia, in my country, the government's reaction to refugee children's right to education has been limited and confusing. Malaysia denies refugee children access to the national school system since it is a non-signatory to the 1951 Refugee Convention. Instead, they are educated through an informal parallel system of 128 community-based learning centers. As of June 2023, around 181,560 refugees and asylum seekers in Malaysia had requested United Nations assistance and protection, with 49,220 being children under 18. However, just 30% of refugee school-age children attend community learning centers. So in response to education as a humanitarian response for refugee children, several sources provide insight into the role of education in emergency response, emphasizing the importance of access to quality education, providing fundamental protection to children and youth in displacement contexts, particularly in situations of conflict and crisis. So, in my view, this study is seen as very important to ensure that the education right of refugee children, especially in Asia, are protected.
Sorry, interrupt you. Please direct to your finding, maybe.
Yeah, this is my last slide, Doctor.
Oh, I see.
This is my last slide.
Okay. Continue.
Okay, so significant of this research is to support policy and advocacy initiative and give evidence-based insight into the problem that refugee children face, to help tailor intervention and educational program to their specific needs. Research finding could help empower NGOs and stakeholders involved in advocacy and support effort, equipping them with valuable data and insight for designing and implementing more targeted initiatives. Research contributes to designing inclusive and effective educational interventions, focusing on teaching methods, curriculum, and support system that cater to the diverse needs of refugee children, and also to aid in identifying sustainable solutions that go beyond short-term aid, addressing immediate educational access, but also contributing to long-term well-being and integration of refugee children into the education system. And research finding can raise awareness among the public and policymakers about the plight of Palestinian and Syrian refugee children in Malaysia, leading to greater empathy and support for initiatives aimed at safeguarding their rights. And as my conclusion, the right to education is a social right that requires government action, public resources, and enforcement mechanism. It also requires great attention and participation from all parties to ensure its implementation well. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much, Pastor. Yeah, I think it's a good effort for you try to understand how is important the effort of the government and stakeholder others to tackling this problem, especially refugee in Malaysia. So I think we can continue to Dion, yeah. Maybe you can use the 10 until 15 minutes, Dion. No need to explain about the methodology, things you can give background explanations and then script and also direct to finding maybe, yeah. Okay, Dion, times for you.
Okay, Professor. Thank you very much, Professor Yatno and Professor Ismail. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me in this very beautiful evening. Without further ado, since I'm the last presenter here, I think everything has been discussed very well by the previous presenters. I think I will just present my research very briefly. Okay, my research is about terrorism in Indonesia, and I think I will I see it from the geographical perspective. There are two waves of Indonesian terrorism studies based on my literature review. The first wave consists of the history of political Islam and terrorism in Indonesia, transnational networks of terrorists, and ideological and strategic aspect of violent extremism. While the second wave, I think the work of Professor Yatno and Yaza fall within this category. This wave consists of critical evaluation of the government's counterterrorism programs and this engagement of or the radicalization program of the government. So what I didn't see from the previous or the existed research, previous research, are they are lack of geographical perspective. In other words, they didn't see that geographical aspect have a very important role in understanding terrorism in Indonesia. And in my opinion, the explanation of why terror attacks occur relies mainly on George's term of near and far enemy, in which terrorists saw Jakarta and Bali as a symbol of Western world. And nonetheless, scholars seem to neglect the fact that attacks were prepared and people were recruited in other places. This is the main point that would like to discuss here. I would like to discuss a place, namely Malang. It is a city where I was born and I grew up and I work here in Universitas Muhammadiyah Malang. So you can call that I really understand the development of Malang, including how it became a safe haven for tourists to prepare and to train the terrorists to do attack in other cities. So my study aims to fill the gap by exploring extremist activities in places other than Bali and Jakarta. In this case, Malang City. Why I chose Malang? It is not without any reason. The first is Malang is not a capital city like Jakarta, where many Western symbols lie there, such as embassies and multinational corporations or hotels, just like Yasa has already discussed previously. And secondly, it is also not like Bali, where it is a tourism object, a famous object where plenty of white foreigners from Australia and other Western country spend their holiday there. And third, Malang is not a conflictual zone, just like Poso, Central Sulawesi, or Ambon, Maluku, where horrible religious-based conflict occur in 1998 or until 2001. And lastly, Malang is far from Solo, previously mentioned by Yasa, or Sukoharjo in Central Java, where it is believed to be the headquarters of Jamaah Islamiyah, or to be more specific, in the pesantren of Nguruki pesantren under Ustadz Abu Bakar Basir. So in my opinion, using George's theory would be less appropriate and will fail to explain such a question. So in my research, I am using the theory of place of John Agnew, who proposed a theory that he argues that places are the combination of three related aspects, namely location, local, and sense of place. Location is, to put it simply, is the answer to the question where. So if you ask me about where Malaysia is, I can use the longitude and latitude coordinate, or I can say that it is in the southern of Thailand, or in the western part of South China Sea, for example. So location is the exact or the objective position of a place. Local indicates the physical and social context within social interaction take place. For example, the physical manifestation, such as parks, building, roads, mountains, rivers, lakes, forest, jungle, and so on, within a specific location. Whereas the sense of place is the given meaning of a particular place. So this is the identity of a place. So if we talk about Malaysia with the perspective of sense of place, we say that Malaysia is where the Bangsa Melayu live, something like that. So it is the identity of the place. So first of all, I put a place into Indonesian terrorism studies. So as already well discussed by Yasa, the development of terrorism in Indonesia cannot be separated from the development of Jamaah Islamiyah, because the organization is well rooted, and it has the transnational networks around the world. So I focus on these organizations, and I see from the different perspective. So it does. Jamaah Islamiyah did attack the two cities in Indonesia mainly, in Jakarta and Bali, but very few people or scholars see the other city that actually are really connected to Jakarta and Bali. For example, the terrorist attack in October 2002 at Legian Bali was prepared in Solo or Sukoharjo. It is 160 kilometers away from Bali. So and additionally, it was revealed that there were 7 M16 rifles that were distributed from Solo to Ambrosi before eventually being found by the police in the Dadapan forest in Lamongan, northern Java. So this is the map that I reconstruct from the data that I gather. So, for example, attack in Jakarta, which aimed at GW Marriott Hotel in 2003, was closely related to 3 cities in Sumatra, which are Pekanbaru, Bengkulu, and Lampung. Pekanbaru, Bengkulu, and Lampung. It was first prepared in Pekanbaru and Bengkulu before it was built partially in Lampung and finalized in Jakarta. A year later, another attack in Jakarta, which was aimed at the Australian embassy, was prepared in rented house in Cikande, Serang, around 70 kilometers from Jakarta. Lastly, the candidate for the bomber in the 2005 Bali bombing was recruited and trained in Semarang, a capital city for Central Java province, 750 kilometers from Bali. So now I'm moving to Malang, my focus of this of the study. So by using 3 conceptual framework from John Agnew, I reveal that Malang has at least three aspects that it attracts terrorists to prepare, to recruit, and to train terrorists to do attack in other cities. So from the location aspect, Malang is located right in the middle of East Java province, where the name itself means at the crossroad in the Javanese language, means Malang at the crossroad. So it is right in the middle. So in my opinion, it is very strategic place because it is not too far from Bali and it's not too far from Solo and so on. And the next, the local aspect signify 3 physical manifestations which influence extremist or terrorist mobilities. Those are tourism objects, universities, and mountains. These three entities altogether represent social interactions within Malang people and make them distinct from other places. The first physical manifestation that is a tourism object cannot clearly be seen from the plenty number of universities in Malang. For example, based on the Central Bureau of Statistics of East Java Province, in 2018 and 2019, there were 53 universities in Malang regions, which have around approximately 240,000 something students. That number is the second biggest after Surabaya, and more than 15% of the total number of the universities in East Java. So it's a large number of university students live in Malang. In addition to a large number of universities, Malang also keeps plenty of tourism objects. In Kota Batu alone, I need to explain this first. Malang In this case, Malang is not the name of the city, but it is municipalities, which consists of Kota Batu, Kota Malang, and Kabupaten Malang. So there are three cities within Greater Malang, which I mean in this case, Greater Malang. So in Kota Batu alone, at least 30 tourism destination attracted more than 4 million people in 2017 and more than 2 millions as of April 2018 from the 33 tourism objects. Just as Kota Batu, Kabupaten Malang has many tourist destinations, bringing more than 6 million visitors in 2016 and more than 7 million in the year after. In contrast to Kota Batu, tourism object in Malang, Kabupaten Malang, are mostly nature-based tourism, such as mountain, beaches, and waterfalls. That's why the number of hotels in this town is much fewer than in Kota Batu. Meanwhile, Kota Malang, the number of visitors recorded was more than 5 million in 2019. And the last but not the least, it is a very important physical manifestation, which is a part of the local aspect. It is mountain that is also another salient feature of Malang. Thanks to this physical manifestation, Malang is known as a cool city or Kota Sejuk. Yeah. Since it is surrounded by a large amount of mountains such as Gunung Putak, Gunung Panderman, Gunung Kawi, Gunung Arjuna, Ulirang, and so on. In my study, I focus specifically on one mountain near Kota Batu, namely Gunung Panderman, which in my finding, which has closely related to Jamaah Islamiyah activities. This is the image of Gunung Panderman, which I will explain next. So the last aspect is sense of place. As I mentioned before, sense of place is the identity, is the spirit of a place. So when we talk specifically about Malang, Malang embraces multiple identities, but the study focuses on the identity strongly associated with extremist mobility. Malang has been an open place for visitors from other places due to its geographical location, long story. So to put it simply, Malang is like a kind of like a bowl which many cultures getting mixed together. So this is my finding. So what is the importance of geographical aspect of Malang for extremists? My study has main argument that Malang has all three aspects of places that provided a haven for extremists. The location between east and west meets with the three distinctive locales ancestral place, make Malang an open place for outsider to stay or even live permanently. Tourism object created an open and friendly place for visitor to stay in Malang. Universities, moreover, provided human resources to be recruited by extremists. At the same time, the mountainous area provided a perfect landscape for extremists to conduct military training. So as extremists had exploited this aspect to prepare and evaluate terror attacks as well as recruit local members. I will examine the GI or Jamaah Islamiyah Network to support the argument. So if we look back in 2005 in Kota Batu, Dr. Azari was reported to prepare dozens of bombs for attacks on Christmas Eve. Azari rented a house in a block of villas under Panderman Mountain, the mountain that I mentioned previously, which called Villa Flamboyan, Via Kolili, and Amran. They told the locals that they were university students working on their thesis, which cleared the suspicion amongst the locals due to a sense of place owned by Malang. Based on the Central Police analysis, Villa Flamboyant was chosen by Azari for two reasons. Firstly, he wanted to be merged with the locals in a densely populated area. Unfortunately, I did not have the picture of the Villa Flamboyant and the neighborhood. But yeah, so that the police would find difficulty in tracking him. And secondly, he wanted to use local people as a shield in case of a sudden raid by the police. Another local aspect of Malang that extremely exploited was university. In Malang, higher education has often been close to Islamic transnational network since a long time ago. Okay, shortly, in 1988, there was an event called the 10 Forum Silaturahmi Lembaga Dakwah Kampus or Dakwah Groups Forum at Universitas Muhammadiyah Malang, the university that I'm working in now. And then that event resulted in Kesatuan Aksi Mahasiswa Muslim Indonesia or KAMI, which the organization itself is closely associated with Ikhwanul Muslimin of Egypt. And another transnational Islamic group is in Malang, which is Hizbut Tahrir Indonesia. In the first year of its appearance, HTI spread its ideology into well-known university in Malang, namely Universitas Brawijaya and IKIP Malang, and today we call it UM Malang. However, it did spread even more widely after reform, including UMM, my university, Universitas Islam Malang, Universitas Brawijaya, Universitas Kanjuran, and Politeknik Negeri Malang. So this is not an empty assumption by myself. My argumentation is based on several research done previously. One of them is research done by Mahfur and Siti Mumun, which they interview a suspected terrorist, namely AA, which was believed to be radicalized in Malang when he took an undergraduate degree. Another case, which is a newer one in 2011, where NEE brainwashed a dozen of students of UMM. They were told that the political system embraced by Indonesia was infidel made, therefore should be changed into an Islamic state. The same case could be also applied to Kolili and Amran, who were university students back then. Lastly, the last aspect of local is the mountain. So based on interview done with Ali Fauzi, an ex-GI leader for basic military training in East Java province, it is revealed that Malang was the center for military training. More specific, Gunung Panderman and Coban Rondo, which is inside the Gunung Panderman, were used by the group for military training. Fauzi stated that he conducted military training 5 to 6 times involving 80 persons. To deceive the police, they did not go to the exact place together at one time, yet divided into 8 groups. They then gather in one ensemble spot to start military training. This statement has been confirmed implicitly by the local police, by the Kota Batu, by stating that those places have the potential to be exploited as terrorist military training. So the conclusion is, as today, generally, terrorist networks have been significantly decreasing, especially in Malang. The threat of extremism still exists, as the geographical aspect of Malang are still prone to be exploited by them. As Ali Fauzi has mentioned, terrorism in Indonesia is a latent problem where itself still alive while waiting for the government and society to be ignorant for their potential. As long as it provides geographical advantage, Malang will will still be a safe haven for extremists to recruit members, prepare for terror attacks, and train the military. That's all for me. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Good presentation from Dion. I think Dion and Yasa have a similar topic, yeah, to discuss each other. So, and Azrul try to explain how the effort of a stakeholder in Malaysia regarding refugee problems. For the other participant, if you have any question, you can raise your hand.
One comment, Prof. Would
Okay.
you like to give us the identical issue? Is it the typology of pesantren in Jember look like different, or this is the typology of all pesantren in Indonesia? One more things to Dion, how we can expand this topic, Dion, to be a kind of European context. Somehow, we will discuss tomorrow as the third day and the last session of the symposium, the proposal to have a special issue to European politics and society. I would like to type the name of the journal over there in chat box so you can see. So I would like to invite every one of us to meet once again tomorrow night in Indonesian time. It's around 9:30 to 11 at evening for us to discuss with the Prof. Christian Kauner the possibilities for the further publication or outcome of the symposium. So, because this symposium is connected to the after European Counter-Terrorism Research Center, and then it might be we can enhance most of our research that we are doing together with the colleague from Europe. I would like to hand over the mic again to Prof. Yatno. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the comment from Prof. Ismail. I think it's good for Dion and also Yasa and Hasrul. Yeah, try to think how it's important to make one article regarding this moment. Good for all of you. Try to write and then simply make a simply sections of your thesis to be one article. Yeah. I think it's a good opportunity from Pak Ismail for all of you. Thank you, Pak Ismail. And then we will coordinate with our students. The time is yours now.
Yeah,
Hello, Pak
Yaza or
Ismail.
Dion, do you like to comment?
Oh, I think enough from me, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Yasa.
I have one question, Doctor.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I think Yaza can answer my questions. So based on your experience or based on your point of view, for when someone is called a terrorist, why do you think it needs to be linked to Islam when Islam never encourages violence but instead call for peace?
Okay, Yasa. Thanks, good questions. Yasa?
All right.
Yasa. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Hasrul.
Okay.
All right. Actually, the research that I am doing is not pointing to any of the religious, any kind of religion, specific religion, because basically the person who committed terrorist acts is someone who has been leading to radical thinking first. Because some of the many reasons, such as they have the specific agenda in order to it's like their agenda is not the same way like the local government, so that in order to rebel the policy of the local government or local policy, they want to create attention so that they committed a crime. So based on the experience and also the tragedy that happened in Indonesia so far, some of them are the person who are aligned with the ISIS, with the group of terrorism that has labeling themselves as the Islamic groups. But in terms of its practice, they have the wrong interpretation towards Islam. So that's why, based on the communications and also the interview that has been done with one of the ex-convicted terrorists who has released, which is the terrorist from Poso, his agenda right now is to bring back the straightened mind from the convicted terrorists towards Islam, towards a this specific religion, to go back to the right path, so that they won't think that the only way to achieve the heaven is through the bombings itself, by killing people and also committed criminal acts in a specific countries.
Okay, Azrul?
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for the
Okay.
clear.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you so
I think
much.
I can add this explanation because there are many types of terrorism, not only religious but also state and also bioterrorism. Yeah. What happened in Indonesia? Many terrorists using the religion as a cover, as a titles, like Yasa mentioned just now. The wrong interpretation from the Islamic values. Just as using as a title or as a cover. It's called because we have evidence in Indonesia only Islamic cover, not in other religions. If you find there are many religious terrorism such as Oklahoma bombing in US and then state terrorism such as Israel, I think so we can find how many terrorists in the world. I think it's a good for explanation from Yasa. Thank you, Yasa. Okay, Pak Ismail, I think enough because I have I have to the end of the sessions before. Thank you, Pak Ismail.
Okay, thank you everyone. Alhamdulillah wa syukrillah. We already complete our first sessions on the second day of our international Young Scholar Symposium on the topic of counter-terrorism. And then these sessions focusing on the education. We already have the highlight, we have opportunity to highlight about the Jember situation, Santren in Jember, and we have already had the presentation from Dion in the case of Malang, and then how it relates to refugee in Malaysia, yeah, and then from Syria and some how another part of the conflict area in the world. And this is actually the seed to have opportunity to publish together or for collaborative research, since one of the scientific committee is Prof. Christian Kauner, is a professor in UK, and he is one of the member, the scientific member of Erasmus program. So this is to announce, so everyone who are ready to embark for master degree and under umbrella of Erasmus under European Union, and then it might be 2 years program, 4 semester, and then they will move from one university to another university in European country. So it will enhance their learning process during the 2 years program. This is actually just a brief information. If you are free, I would like to invite every one of us to join the last session for tomorrow night in the Southeast Asia time. It will be 1:30 to 3 o'clock of London time. Convert to Kuala Lumpur, it might be 9:30 to 11 for us as the round table to discuss the further collaborative research, collaboration between European countries and from us in the Southeast Asia. Thank you to Prof. Yatno. This session already chaired by Prof. Yatno from University Sultan Zainal Abidin, Malaysia, and then the initiative of the International Young Scholar Symposium started from EUCTER and SEAM, Southeast Asia Academic Mobility, with support from Rumah Produktif Indonesia and Universitas Muhammadiyah Baru. Tonight, we are lucky because frame of us from Institut Agama Islam Darul Dakwah Wal Irsyad, Pangkajene Sidenten Rapang already joined, and Director of Universitas Muhammadiyah Baru the same times already joined, and Director of Institut Agama Islam Darul Dakwah Wal Irsyad join us tonight for the first session. Thank you very much and have a nice afternoon. Thank you to the presenter, Hasrul, Yaza, and Dion. And thank you to the chair, Prof. Suyatno Ladiki from University Sultan Zainal Abidin. Once again, thank you very much and have a nice evening for everyone. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you
Waalaikumsalam.
very much, Prof. Thank
Thank
you
you very
so
much,
much.
Professor Ismail.